In today's lesson, we will discuss Virginia Woolf. The goal of this lesson will be to explore Woolf's experiences and notable works. Virginia Woolf was one of the most influential writers of the 20th century. She was a modernist, feminist, and intellectual in a class all her own. In her works of fiction, Woolf often used a stream of consciousness narrative style that helped shape and define the modernist movement. Her nonfiction writing relied on wit, metaphor, and social observation. Woolf's work reflects some of the sweeping changes that happened in the early 20th century. New technology like automobiles and planes was reshaping society. People could travel faster and farther and experience new cultures. The early 20th century was also a time of change for women, as many were entering the workforce and fighting for suffrage. At the same time, industry and banking were creating a new wealthy class based on business, rather than land ownership. This was upending the social status quo of England, as old money families were struggling to survive, while new money families were climbing the social ladder. Woolf framed many of the issues of her day in the context of modernism. This was the literary movement that bucked long-standing institutions and traditions and sought to focus on the mind and experiences of individuals. Woolf explored the mind and the experiences of individuals through the use of the stream of consciousness narrative style. This exposed readers to the inner thoughts of characters in her stories. It also led to comparisons between her and James Joyce, a fellow modernist and pioneer of the stream of consciousness style. However, Woolf dismissed Joyce's 1922 stream of consciousness novel Ulysses as a memorable catastrophe, before using the technique in her own work. Some of Woolf's most notable works include the 1925 novel Mrs. Dalloway and the extended essay A Room of One's Own. Mrs. Dalloway is a stream of consciousness exploration of British society following World War I. The events of the book transpire over the course of a single day in June 1923, and it invites the reader to peek inside the minds and emotions of the characters, including Clarissa Dalloway and Septimus Smith. Through these two contrasting characters, Woolf explores a woman who is concerned about her standing in London's high society and a World War I veteran experiencing hallucinations and shell shock, which have led to problems in his marriage. A Room of One's Own is an essay Woolf created by combining two speeches she gave on the role of women in fiction writing. The title of the essay comes from the line that forms the core of Woolf's point. She states that a woman needs money and a room of her own if she is to write fiction. In the essay, Woolf argues women cannot write while dependent on men and distracted by household obligations. She also points out that men have traditionally enjoyed intellectual and financial freedom, while women have not. Woolf argues that this is why men had become the dominant voices in the spaces of education and literature. So, the goal of this lesson was to explore Virginia Woolf's experiences and notable works. Woolf was a modernist and feminist author. Like her modernist contemporaries, her work often featured the stream of consciousness style and reflected the changing social and political landscape of the early 20th century. Woolf's work also explored the changing role of women in society. One of Woolf's most notable novels was Mrs. Dalloway, a stream of consciousness exploration of British society following World War I. Woolf also discussed the role of women in fiction writing and society in her essay, A Room of One's Own. For more information on this topic, contact your teacher.